A summit on religious freedom kicked off today in Washington, D.C. The International Religious Freedom Summit is a three-day event which brings together a broad coalition of people who support the rights of the faithful. The event's motto is religious freedom for everybody, everywhere, all the time. There are a number of speakers from around the world, including former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Joining us now is Ambassador Sam Brownback, co-chair of the International Religious Freedom Summit and one of the speakers at the event. He is also the former ambassador at large for international religious freedom. Ambassador Brownback, welcome back. Great to have you here.
Oh, it's good to join you again. I always love being on EWTN and just the show and what you guys do and the story of Mother Angelica. It was just one of my favorites. It's a great one.
Oh, it's incredible, and we're honored to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit more about the summit, why it's important and why it's so important right now?
You're just seeing all the world on fire, and these various religiously used or motivated actors, or they're claiming religion as a route of moving this on forward and doing what they're doing. In Nigeria, you've got this Muslim on Christian fighting. In eastern China, you've got the Chinese Communist Party persecuting the Muslims. In northern Iraq, you had the Yazidis and the Christians being persecuted by Muslims. It's just kind of like it's everywhere. And what we're doing is getting a lot of religious activists together to stand up for each other's religious freedom, so that the Muslims standing up for the Christians for the Jews and the Hindus for the Buddhists. We will have all the major faiths of the world together at this summit. And our idea, our mantra is religious freedom for everybody, everywhere, all the time.
Yeah, so important. Can you talk about some of the speakers that will be at the summit and who you're really looking forward to hearing their stories?
Well, I saw two of them this morning. One's the head of the largest Muslim organization in the world, Pakiyaya from Indonesia, and the other is the head of the World Evangelical Association. They're doing a press conference today at Catholic University talking about the book they're writing together and working on religious freedom in each of their faiths. And I look at that and I go, praise God, that's exactly what we need, is the religious leaders coming together and saying this is an important human right. We're not talking about theology. We don't agree on theology. That's just that we don't talk about it. But this is a common human right, and it's being 80% of the world's faith community is being persecuted or living in a country where religious persecution is substantial. So we've got to stand for each other, and as we do, I think we really are going to catapult this issue forward.
Yeah, and you had mentioned it's a sold-out event, so everybody there is going to hear those messages. For those who aren't going to be there, what would you like to say to them about religious persecution?
Well, tune in. They can go on our website, irfsummit.com, irfsummit.com. Tune in and listen to the various speakers. I would ask them to pray. And that's the most important thing that they can do is pray for it. But then also, if you can, find an area that you're interested in and become active in it. Find out what's taking place with the Uyghurs. Find out what's happening in Nigeria or in another country that you have interest in, or in Venezuela, what's happening even in our own hemisphere. And then start writing your congressman, contacting people about it, contacting your church leaders about it, writing even to those governments. It's a really interesting thing. If you advocate for an individual, and you can find websites that list prisoners of conscience around the world, the USERF Commission has one, and you write to that government about that person, you might keep them alive because you've given them a name. They're actually noticed by somebody. They're mentioned on social media, and people are less willing to kill them than in secret.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of the countries that are really, you have your eye on. Anywhere else? And also, let's talk about the United States. What's been happening here as of late?
Yeah, there are really a number of countries got my eye on. China just dominates because it's so big, and the communists are at war with faith. And then they want to export their model, and they're using technology now to do it with. So they're creating virtual prisons even if they don't have you locked up. Nigeria is a concern because it's such a big country, and you've got this growing terrorist movement in the northern area of Nigeria and the Sahel region of Africa that's using Islam to attack Christians, and it's bloody and it's spreading. and that one's got my concern as well. India is a concern increasingly, even though it's a big democracy, because you've got this sort of nationalistic Hinduism coming in, and they're not officially doing it, but there's a lot of communal violence and persecution that's taking place there in the largest democracy in the world. So, you know, you've got these areas of concern because they're large, and in our own country, you've just got this real aggressive sort of secularism that wants to say, if you have a faith and it's got traditional values, then we don't want you in the public square. And we've always allowed people to publicly enter the public square with their faith, as long as they're peaceful, but you can come with your faith. And to erode that here is bad for the world, and it's certainly bad for us.
Absolutely. Ambassador, thank you so much for your time today. I wish we had more time to talk a really important subject. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.